I'm Carol Rathmann, the director and founder of Forget Me Not Farm. And Forget Me Not Farm was started to teach children that were raised in maybe abusive situations about kindness and empathy. I've always had a strong love for farm animals. And so for my career, I started out working in large animal medicine where I could work with horses and cows, and then made kind of a midlife career change coming to the Humane Society. I kept seeing a lot of the same people over and over again, which were people that weren't taking care of their animals. In the early 90s, researchers were starting to understand the connection between human violence and abuse against animals. So I attended like a 3-day seminar and learned about that connection and how it was all tied together. And there was a psychiatrist at the training, and I asked him, I said, what would you think about using farm animals with kids? And he thought it was a splendid idea because children raised in abusive households don't necessarily have gentle touch. And one of the things we want to do in any kind of therapy program is to not harm anyone, whether it's the animals or the children. The first animal that we brought actually into the program was a goat. He'd been abandoned because he was badly deformed and had kind of a wobbly hip, so we called him Elvis.
Carol went back to school, got a master's in psychology, emphasizing animal-assisted therapy, and pitched her idea of a therapeutic rescue farm to the YWCA, which operated a domestic violence women's shelter and 2 therapeutic preschools.
The director said, okay, let's do it. So she put 4 kids in her car once a week, brought them out to the farm. We spent an hour with the kids each week. And then it just it went from 4 kids a week to 100 kids a week.
The farm offers a sanctuary for both the rescued animals and the youth that visit.
My mother was a foster child, and at that time they didn't want you to get too attached to your family. So she was moved around if it looked like she was beginning a good relationship with someone. After hearing all of her stories, it became really important to me to look at those kids and see how we could be that sort of stable person in their life.
Bringing students to the farm from a foster background, homelessness, trauma, loss, just different challenging situations, allows them to kind of escape their own reality and connect with animals that have also faced traumatic situations in their own lives.
When a child comes here, there's this sense of normalcy, of being able to act like a child without any fear. And you can see transformation in like 1 or 2 visits.
I've been coming to Forget Me Not Farm since I was 8 years old. So I started coming in 1996. I actually came the day after I was taken from my mother. You know, in that time, things are confusing and, hard to, wrap your mind around your new situation. And just fun to come see the animals and pet them, and you just forget other things just go away as you're petting them, and yeah, it's just awesome.
When kids come out to the farm, they interact with the animals. Sometimes the animals solicit pets, sometimes they just stand next to them and they share space. And the animals are kind of always interested in the youth that come out. They have very good reactions with the kids, and I think they're always teaching them lots of little lessons.
The goats, for instance, they'll come up to all the kids, they might jump on you, they're friendly, they'll try and see if you have any treats in your pocket. And so their lesson for children might be, it's okay to push them away and say, no, it's okay to do that. And then we have a llama who's very aloof, and it's taken years for some of the children to be able to get near her. And that lesson for the children is just about relationship building. It doesn't happen overnight.
One of the things we're trying to repair is healthy attachment, and that takes time.
They're learning to be caregivers. So they're learning to take care of an animal. And so I think a lot of these children feel like they have some value. They feel loved.
We get to be like the aunts and the uncles that they don't have or have never had. Just adults who want to listen to them and be around them.
We're trying to bring the youth in this program into the present. What we're trying to teach them in the now is, how do I sit with my feelings? How do I self-regulate? How does working with this animal help me to have good boundaries, to have self-worth?
We are not clinicians ourselves and actually don't know the histories of these kids. So when they come here, we just meet them where they're at, right? We treat them just like any other kid. We don't try to dive into their history or sit down and do talk therapy. And so it's just through the activities that we do with our animals and out in our gardens growing produce, it's intrinsically therapeutic.
Since opening, Forget Me Not Farm has hosted over 10,000 youth and rescued thousands of animals.
But we also have a mentoring program where we have one-on-one relationships between youth that are like 14 to 18. It's a work readiness program. We started the mentoring program when we realized that the children, as they aged out of the system at 18, so many of them had no resources.
I was able to be one of the first mentors, or actually the mentee, to come to the farm, and that was a really fun experience. Once or twice a week, we came and helped out in the hospital and here and get some work experience. And I wrote a grant, and I was able to buy some like scrubs and stuff for coming here. And I bought some stuff for the the puppies and the foster kittens. So it was like one of the best experiences that always kind of remained with me. The farm, really, kind of made me who I am.
When I hear from our kids, and I realize the impact that it's had on them, I'm incredibly proud of that.
I would like to just say how unbelievably proud I am of the work that my mother has done. And what an honor it is to work with her every day.
She's touched so many lives with this program. She's just one of those fearless, fearless, fearless women. I asked her, what made you start this program? What was the impetus, And she just said, well, it's needed, I'm gonna do it, and she did it.
I think Carol is an amazing person. She's got an amazing vision, has carried it out in such a way that it's like a ripple effect in this community.
Carol's been such a great, mentor and person in my life. Even now, if I have any questions or about animals or anything, I always call her.
And 30-some years, we've grown from one little raised bed and this really funky kind of shed into this 3-acre expanse. And I keep thinking that it might be time for me to retire, but I still have a lot to do. We're still growing and expanding who we see. It's really all about not forgetting. The animals are not forgotten, the children are not forgotten. So it's really any of those living things.